Imagine you're in your kitchen, a foul smell rising from the sink. You reach for the baking soda. You sprinkle it, you scrub, and the odor lingers. It's only when you grab the bottle of vinegar and pour it over that powder that the magic happens. That furious, fizzing, transformative reaction. That is the perfect picture of our health today. We are all sprinkling baking soda on the profound ailments of our lives, wondering why the stagnation remains. We are using half measures, and then we blame ourselves when the full cure doesn't come. Baking soda works. But only if you add the vinegar, the catalyst, the missing element that triggers the real reaction. For years, we've been handed baking soda solutions. Take this pill for that symptom, follow this 7-day diet. Try this superfood powder, and while these things can work, just like baking soda alone can absorb a little odor, they are incomplete. They are passive. They lack the necessary catalytic counterpart that creates true systemic change. Consider the modern nutritional landscape. We have been taught to see food as a collection of isolated compounds, macronutrients, vitamins, minerals, calories. We read a label and see 10 grams of fiber, high in vitamin C, excellent source of iron, and we believe we understand its value. This is the baking soda. It is the inert, measured powder of reductionist science. It is not wrong, but it is profoundly incomplete. It assumes that the fiber from a heavily processed supplement, fortified bar, is metabolically identical to the fiber from a handful of soil-grown kale. It assumes that the vitamin C in a capsule will perform the same symphony of functions as the vitamin C woven into the complex phytochemical matrix of a freshly picked strawberry. We are sprinkling this isolated data onto our health problems, confused when the promised reaction, vitality, healing, resilience fails to materialize. The catalyst, the vinegar you must add, is the rich, messy, irreducible context. Context is the story behind the statistic. It begins with the very origin of your food. A tomato is not just lycopene and water. Its nutritional profile is a living record of the soil it grew in, the microbiome of that soil, the minerals present or absent, the exposure to natural stressors like sun and wind that trigger its own defensive production of antioxidants. A tomato grown in vibrant, regenerative soil and picked at peak ripeness carries a different biological message than one grown hydroponically in a sterile solution. Picked green and gassed redness, your body reads that message. The context then extends into your kitchen and your own biology. Cooking, combining, and even the mindset with which you eat alter the nutritional outcome. Spinach's iron is more bioavailable when paired with the vitamin C from bell peppers, a simple culinary synergy that no nutrition label mandates. But the deepest layer of context is you. It is the state of your digestive ecosystem. Do you have the necessary stomach acid and diverse gut bacteria to break down those nutrients and make them usable? Two people can eat identical meals, and one will thrive while the other experiences bloating and fatigue, because the context of their inner terrain is different. Furthermore, your physiological context at the moment of eating, your stress level, is perhaps the most potent modifier of all. Eating that perfect nutrient, dense salad while rushed, anxious, or angry means your body is in a sympathetic fight or flight state. Blood flow is shunted away from digestion. Enzymatic secretion is hampered. The food, no matter how pristine, becomes a burden, fermenting rather than being assimilated. The nutrition facts promise one thing, but the context of your nervous system dictates an entirely different reality. Therefore, to move beyond the inert powder of isolated nutrition, you must become an archaeologist of context. Ask not just what is in your food, but how was it grown, how is it prepared, and most critically, what is the state of the system, my unique living system receiving it? This shift from a nutrient-centric to a context-centric view is the essential fizzing reaction. It transforms eating from a transactional intake of chemicals into a conversational relationship with your body and the natural world. You are no longer just consuming parts, you are participating in a whole. So we are left, then, at a crossroads of understanding. You can continue to amass the baking soda, the collection of isolated tips, the perfect protocols, the single solutions that promise a linear fix. There is a comforting simplicity in that box, a sense of control. But as you stand in your kitchen, the powder in hand, you now know a deeper truth, that the power was never in the powder alone. The power resides in the courageous, intentional pour of the catalyst. Your health, your vitality, your resilience is not a passive substance to be absorbed. It is a dynamic, living reaction waiting to be ignited. The profound transformation you seek, the one that lifts the weight, clears the fog, and restores true function, only occurs when the foundational element meets its activating counterpart. Therefore, this is not merely an invitation to add one more thing to your list. It is a call to change the very paradigm through which you approach your well-being. It is to move from a mindset of compliance to one of creation. You are no longer just a patient following orders or a consumer purchasing solutions. You are the chemist of your own life, understanding that the magic is in the combination. You now hold the knowledge of the 6 essential catalysts, the context that gives nutrition meaning, the rest that gives exercise purpose, the purpose that gives protocols power, the community that gives the journey joy, the curiosity that gives compliance life, and the systemic thinking that weaves all your efforts into a unified whole. To ignore any one of these is to choose a quieter, weaker reaction. I know this shift asks more of you. It asks for presence where passivity was easier. It asks for introspection where following a list was simpler. It asks you to look beyond the bottle of pills to the quality of your relationships, beyond the treadmill to the quality of your sleep, beyond the calorie count to the story of your food. This is the harder, more profound work. Yet, it is the only work that yields a result commensurate with the complexity and beauty of the human body you inhabit. The obstacles, the noise of quick fix culture, the seduction of simplicity, the fear of looking deeper, are all just more baking soda, more inert matter promising a clean solution without the messy. Empowering fizz of true engagement. Begin today, not with an overhaul, but with a single catalytic question. Look at one thing you are doing for your health, that morning smoothie, that evening walk, that supplement, and ask yourself, what is my vinegar here? What can I add to transform this from a solitary act into a transformative reaction? Is it eating that smoothie in peace, not in the car? Is it using that walk to connect with a friend or with nature? Is it asking how that supplement makes you feel, truly feel that shift? That is the moment the paradigm changes. That is the beginning of the fizz. From this day forward, may you never be content with just the powder. May you always have the courage to reach for the vinegar, to pour it liberally over every aspect of your life, and to step back awestruck at the healing reaction you have finally, wisely, triggered. Thank you for joining me in this vital conversation today. Remember, the journey to true wellness is not about collecting more information, but about sparking more transformative reactions. You now have the keys, the catalytic elements, to move beyond passive fixes into a life of vibrant, fizzing health. Go forward and be the catalyst in your own story. I look forward to hearing about the powerful reactions you create. Until next time, take good care and goodbye.